Pulsechain and Pulsex are going to be going live soon, according to Richard, within the next 30 days potentially. Right? But I think people have heard that one before, so take that with a grain of salt. But there's only two things, according to him, that are left: the sacrifice balances and the AMM fixture ratio bot. So I wanted to conceptualize what is taking place using this, and then we are going to go through and take a look at this AMM bot to explain how this is going to impact the price of different PRC20s and how that presents the opportunity to make free money. You'll get an understanding for the arbitrage opportunity here. What does that mean? That when the AMM fixer bot goes live, it is going to harvest the liquidity driving the price up in a certain marketplace. It is not going to do that across the board. So what does that mean? Some prices are going to be high. Exactly the same thing are going to be low prices in other marketplaces where the liquidity is not harvested. That, my friends, is the opportunity. You can go through and buy shit dirt cheap and then sell it at a higher price just because the issues related to an AMM fixture bot not being able to harvest all the liquidity. That means there's opportunity to make money for free. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, what's up? My name is Sam, and for those of you who are returning, it is good to freaking see you. I don't know why you're not subscribed. If this is your second time, you should definitely be subscribed. So let's dive into this. I was having a conversation with Wendy's attendees on Twitter, but we were doing on our live stream last night with GRC, and the conceptualization that he put forth was the first time I was able to get a better understanding of how this AMM fixture bot is going to work, and I knew I needed to share this. What is effectively happening with Pulsechain is we're getting a copy of this, right? So that's what we have here. We have ETH on the left and Pulse on the right. And they're basically a copy, right, with some changes for certain improvements that want to be made. Now, how does this AMM fixture bot work? So remember, I'm brand new to this, right? 45 days. So I have the idea that this AMM fixture bot is going to go out and buy up the liquidity, right? So we're going to have this AMM fixture bot. It's going to come over here, say these are DEXs, right? So it is going to come over here to these DEXs, and it is going to buy the liquidity up in these markets, and then trade that for Pulse, right? So these are going to, and I still don't even understand this. Now, a better way, at least from the example that was talked about last night, is that it's not going to be like this whatsoever. Because I'm like, how could they not go live at the same time, the AMM fixer bot and mainnet? And Wendy's had mentioned this. Think of this as its own ecosystem, right? This is its own ecosystem. He used a video game example. The video game example doesn't like connect with me, but I know it connects with other people. I don't play video games. I never really got into any video games. But in the sense that certain video games, you can earn like fake money in these video games, and there's no reference point for reality until you're able to take the video game and buy that fake money. And that is what's going on, in the sense that this is a separate fake world, right? This is its own fake world over here. But this is connected to fiat. And this is not yet. Now, Pulse X is going to connect these, right? With the bridge, it's going to allow traffic back and forth between these two. So when you think, and then we're going to talk about the AMM bot and how that's going to work. When you think about how this is going to work, right? I want to draw this little arrow here. So we got traffic back and forth, called the bridge, right? And then there's also like this portion, right? This is going to be the swap over here. where you can switch up your PRCs. Before this happens, you are just playing with fake making up money, right? Like that's where internet money is, right? That's what fiat money is, right? It's just made up shit, just like everything in life. History is made up, right? Now, the AMM fixer bot couldn't go over here and purchase, like where he talks about buying PRC20s and minting Pulse, right? So it's like, how is that going to work? But I'm thinking about the AMM bot coming over here, where in reality, the DEXs, these DEXs, are all copied over here. So this AMM fixer bot is going to come over here to these DEXs, and it's going to go to these DEXs and pull the liquidity out of those. And that is what creates the opportunity here. And then as it's pulling these PRC20s out of these liquidity providers, in this live stream here, around the 26-minute and 35-second mark, he talks about this a little bit and how the AMM fixer bot is challenging to set up in a way that allows harvesting of liquidity from Uniswap version 3. And I don't fully understand that yet, but one of the ideas on why that's challenging, which I don't get the logic for, maybe somebody can, who has more understanding of this can let me know down below. But version 2 of Uniswap, when you deposit liquidity token, or when you deposit liquidity, right, you're going to be putting up, say, Hex in USDC. So you put up, $1,000 worth of Hex and $1,000 worth of USDC. When you do that, what's happening is there's this ratio here, right? This is X times Y equals K, and you've probably seen this before. Well, that pair in Uniswap v2, when you put it in there, you get a liquidity token. One way to think about a liquidity token is that the liquidity token goes as a coat check ticket. When you go to someplace and you need to check your jacket, or want to check your jacket, right, some type of venue, and you want to check your jacket that you're wearing, your jacket is given to some clerk, right, or person, and that person hands you back a ticket that says 1, 2, 3, 4, right, or whatever your number is. You take that ticket, you go have your dinner, and you come back and you give them your ticket and you get your coat back. Well, those tickets are the tokens that represent the amount of liquidity that was submitted to the pool. Version 3 Uniswap doesn't give out tokens. They give out NFTs. So something in that increases the complexity of the AMM fixer bot to be able to go through and actually do this and pull the liquidity. And the whole reason I'm explaining the differences between that, because V3 is where the vast majority of the liquidity is, right? So if you have V3 where most of the liquidity is, and then you have an AMM fixer bot which is not going to touch most of the liquidity, I've heard numbers around 70+%. So if you have 70% of all the liquidity in one spot over there, remember, we're in make-believe land over here at this point as we're talking about this, right? Because over here, we know that V3 has, I think, around 70% of liquidity. So over here, we're literally getting a copy of that, and now we're not going to be able to touch that liquidity. So the price of that is going to stay the same. But what is going to happen is when this AMM fixer bot goes over here and it starts pulling from this liquidity provider and this liquidity provider in terms of these two DEXs, that drives up the price. And I'm going to go through this example. So this is the formula that is used for AMM fixer bots, or AMM, right? The automated market maker. The quantity of X times the quantity of Y, in terms of the example we just talked about, hex times USDC, right? If you're putting up $1,000 of each, right, equals a constant, right? So if you're putting up $1,000 of each, then this equals $1 million, right? So K just means it's a constant. That means it doesn't change, right? Unless you add another $100 of USDC and another $100 of hex, right? So then it doesn't change. Otherwise, this is going to stay constant. But what do change, right? These pairs, the quantity in this pair, the USDC here represented by Y and hex represented by X. So let's take a look at this example here. In this example, let's say we put up 10,000 hex, and that's going to be about $1,500, right? Because hex is about 15 cents. So that's going to be about $1,500 of USDC. So we're putting in $1,500 of hex, which represents 10,000 tokens, and we're going to put in $1,500 of USDC. So when you look at this formula here, X times Y equals K, right? So if you look this up, that's all it is. X times Y equals K. That's 15 million bucks, right? Worth of tokens, represented by the constant. Now, in this example, right, we're going to say that X equals hex and Y equals USDC. So what happens when somebody trades a certain amount of USDC for hex? How does that impact the price? Okay. So I set this up so we can punch in a number here, right? Current price, let's actually pull this up real quick. Current price on NOMX for hex is about 15 cents. Yeah, 15.0, right? 15 cents. So in this liquidity pair that we put up here, right, because the numbers are going to be substantially larger than this, but in some of the liquidity providers that Richard mentions, there's not a lot of liquidity. More than this, but not anywhere near V3 Uniswap. So let's say here that somebody takes 100 USDC, 100 bucks, and they want to convert that to hex. They want to swap that for hex. How does that impact the price of hex, right? Because let's get to the point of the opportunity. We want to be able to buy shit cheaper and sell it higher if we're trying to take advantage of an arbitrage opportunity. So somebody takes that. So in this pool, when somebody takes $100 of USDC and they swap it for hex, that changes the price of hex in this pool, right? Because there's different dexes, meaning there's different pools. So in this pool, the price of hex is now 17 cents. In the PulseX website and his Twitter, right, Richard's Twitter, he mentions that 99.9% of all liquidity is going to be harvested. That's not exactly true, right? It's just like marketing is trying to make it sound more hyperbolic, right? Because it's not going to be harvested from V3, or there's another one or two places that's not going to be harvested from, and V3 is the most liquid place, so it's not accurate. Probably more accurate way of stating it would be that from the places that we can pull liquidity, we're going to pull 99.9% of it. So in this example, let's say that this is one of the dexes that the AMM fixer bot is going to go in there and pull liquidity, like bring it over to Pulsechain. So let's say instead of $100, let's say that they pull like $1,450, right? Well, look at what just happened to the price of hex. It's 58 cents. This, my friends, this is what presents the opportunity. You have V2 is going to get harvested, right? In this magical little playground, right? This one over here that we just made up. This over here is going to be harvested in this like copy of everything over here, right? This new copy of each and every single V2, V3, any other dexes out there, they're all going to get played around with in this new make-believe world that we just created. Now, it's not connected to the real world yet. right? There's no bridge to get an idea of what those prices are. Similar to like that video game, right? If it takes 20 gold pieces in a video game to buy a guitar that you have to earn, or a gun to be able to shoot people in the game, what does that mean in terms of USD? Like how many US dollars does it take to buy how many pieces of gold that will translate into that gun for you? As soon as an on-ramp to the real world is connected, then those ratios can start to change, right? Then you can know, oh, 1 USD equals 27 gold, which 27 gold allows me to buy 3 guns in the game, right? Then you can walk through that. So over here, what is happening, V2, the price of hex is going to be way higher than it is in V3. How is somebody going to take advantage of this? The arbs, right? The arbiters, they're going to go to V3 and they're going to buy up hex, right? Because over there, say this is V3 now, right? V3 is 15 cents, right? So they're going to come over here and they're going to be like, ooh, let me get $800 worth of that. Oh, it's still $35 cents, right? So they take $800 worth of hex. They're going to bring that over to V2. And what was the number that we just had? Right, 58 cents. So if you take, if they bought $800 at that price, which was 35 cents. So they're going to take this minus 35 cents times, so they're going to make 23 cents profit times $800 worth of hex just because of this opportunity. Like, this is going to happen as soon as the make-believe world is connected to the real world. As soon as that happens, then this thing is going to happen, and there's going to be people making a massive amount of money very quickly. The other thing is, all of these holders who have ETH, according to Wendy's last night, so everybody, so we've heard this about Vitalik, right? Everybody who has ETH is going to get diluted, right, by 1.2 million, right? Meaning the people who are whales, the people who have a substantial amount of ETH, are just going to be like plebs, or like not have much holdings in Pulse. But all the PRCs are going to have the same amounts over here, but we don't know what those amounts are going to be. We don't know what those ratios are going to be. It's like that make-believe game. You need 6 gold pieces to buy that gun. How much, if now, when the game is like, hey, we're going to add a feature so you can use your debit card to buy gold pieces. $1 equals 36 gold pieces, right? And they just arbitrarily set that number, right? And then they see if people are buying it and not and interested in it. Maybe it needs to be a higher number. Maybe it needs to be a lower number. And that's what's going on with this. And because you can't go to every single market and steal all the liquidity, which is implied on the website and which is implied on his Twitter feed, that 99.9% of liquidity is going to be taken, it's not true. So appreciate you guys for sticking with me through this. So we're going through some really thick stuff. If you found this stuff interesting and insightful, take a second to share with somebody else. I've never seen anybody else go through an example like this before. So if you found it helpful, share with somebody else who's into crypto. Hopefully it'll be helpful for them as well. I appreciate you. Also, if you want to check out Twitter, there's a link down below, or Instagram if you like fitness related stuff. If you like the same type of stuff in terms of being on the fringe in cryptocurrency, I'm on the fringe in the fitness industry when it comes to like peptides or compounds or drugs or things to change or heal or do all sorts of awesome shit. So appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you soon.